let me ask you this, Angelica. How many genders are
Whatever
there?
that person decides, but to go out into the world and say, I don't identify as perhaps the sex I was born as.
So why can't I identify? Okay, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Hello guys, welcome back to Lumina Pro. It's your boy Johnny Boy. Thank you for joining us. Stumbled upon this video is about Piers Morgan with one of his guests, and the way she just contradicted herself about a simple topic. What is a woman? It's a very simple question. She just made a big mess of it. But let's get into it, guys.
It's not difficult, is it, Angelica? I mean, that is what a woman is.
I mean, I don't know why you're obsessed with defining it. Like, what is a man? Like, why do we need these arbitrary...
A man is a male, adult human. I mean, that's it.
Right, okay, I don't know that we need
these are just biological facts, but they're just facts. They're not arguable points, are they?
Well, but I think we have a right to self-identify, and you said
as
you
what?
want to...
As what?
If you'd like to be a woman, you can identify as a woman. I don't know why there is such an issue around
We've literally just seen a male rapist use that scam to get himself put into a female prison where he could attack vulnerable women inside a female prison, when even his ex-wife said it was all a scam.
Which is a terrible, very distressing, isolated incident, and I think it's easy to take that and say that means that no...
They always have an excuse when the narrative doesn't suit their narrative. You see? If a narrative doesn't suit their narrative, then, you know, it's, start shaking. No, but, you know... This is a big sign of hypocrisy.
As a woman,
but
and
it's not an isolated incident, though.
But it's
42% of trans-identifying prisoners in prison are in there for sex crimes. There's actually an advantage, evidently, to identifying as a female, because they never identify as male, because somehow male prisons seem less appealing to them. It's really weird. Anyway, but
is it limitless, this self-identity?
It's not totally limitless.
What's the limit?
When you're talking about International Women's Day, I don't know why we take the conversation around International Women's Day and make it about this.
But if anyone,
there's so many benefits.
Right, but if anyone, according
to
to you, can identify as a woman, anyone can, right?
I don't see a problem with it.
Just literally put the hand up and say I'm a woman.
But it's not an easy thing to do, to go out into the world.
It's very easy.
Very easy.
You might think it's easy to say, but to decide to do that, to say
what
this
is
is
doing
who...
it involve?
Whatever that person decides, but to go out into the world and say, I don't identify as perhaps the sex I was born as.
So why can't I identify... Okay, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean,
I'm serious.
Piers Morgan,
if I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I on International Women's Day say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd status.
I think that's what.
About quite a
with respect, I think that you the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say I'm a woman. So I simply ask you, why can't I?
I mean, this point kind of ridicules trans people to an extent.
Actually, I think what you said ridicules trans people, because actually people who go through the full process of transition, who actually go through what we used to call a sex change, which I don't think you can muck around with original biology, but those who actually go through surgical procedure over a number of years, I've got great respect for that very difficult journey they go on. I have zero respect for people who just wallop their hand up and go, suddenly, I'm a woman and I want all the rights that a woman has, and I want to compete, say, in sport. I'm a 6'4" athlete, sprinter, swimmer, whatever, who's competed very mediocrely in male sport, and I want to come in and crush women in swimming pools and in sprinting events and break all their records, perhaps irrevocably, just by saying, I'm a woman. I think that is the absurdity you were talking about. My response was to say, well, if it's limitless, why can't I then say whatever I want to say? And you say immediately, as I knew you would, well, that's ridiculous. But my point is, you were being ridiculous.
Let's just capture this moment that Piers just basically made a good point, because I personally don't agree with Piers on a lot of topics. People can identify with whatever they want to identify as. No one has a problem with that, but don't force it down our throats. For me, that's all I'm begging. You know, I'm not asking for too much. I don't think any normal person is asking for too much. You want to identify as whatever, we don't need to talk about it. Do that. That's your problem. You know, this is why privacy. Oh God, privacy. Ain't that word so expensive nowadays? Privacy is just. Before I used to think like it's the famous people that struggle from privacy, but now I've just come to the realization that even us, the common man, you know, we struggle from it as well, because this LGBTQ plus, in case I miss any of them.
opinion. You can think I'm ridiculous, but I don't think you can say, well, it has to.
I don't know why I am, but you're not.
I don't think you have to say it's post-op is the only way that someone's allowed to identify
Well,
as
the
trans.
original standard
It's not
for,
for us
hold on,
to
the original
decide.
standard for being transgender was being diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which is a legitimate condition. And now it's been, however way you feel. So if you feel on Tuesday you're a woman and on Thursday you're a pizza, that's perfectly valid. But to you that's ridiculous, and I want to know why that is ridiculous. We should be talking about actual women on International Women's Day. That's not crazy.
I mean, I agree. But your idea of an actual woman.
The chromosomes. It's pretty
It's an adult female. It's not
The
difficult.
chromosomes are a pretty good indication.
I don't think you have to be biologically female to identify.
Then
as a
you are
woman.
wrong, because then I can identify as a fox.
I'm out of words now to this point because a whole woman, don't tell me she's not a woman. If you just see the smirk on her face, it says everything. Why is she just smiling? Why is she just staring and smiling without looking at her face? Because she knows she's lying. A whole biological woman is telling us that just because you're biologically born as a woman, you can't always identify. You don't have to identify as a woman. You can't identify as a woman because you're a biological woman. What in the world is she even talking about? I keep getting lost every single day. Most of the videos I've come across, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I've never seen any one of them that can explain this. And I have to go back to this, right, guys? There's a whole transgender community that when they transform, this is not the Transformers, guys, but when they transform to become a man, it's either a man transforms to a woman or a woman transforms to I think I've confused all you guys. Let's just move on from this shit. No, it's just no need to explain this shit anymore.
Yeah.
But again, it's
You
a bit
can.
of an absurd point.
How many?
Like,
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Angelica. How many genders are there?
Two.
There are 2 genders.
Oh.
Wow. So you don't believe in transgenders at all?
Wow.
Well, I think there are.
Well, hang on.
Oh Lord, did you just say that? This is the thing, guys. I've been saying this for a while now. It's always them shooting themselves on the foot. You don't even need to force them now to tell you the truth right in your face that they're all confused. That's what she just told us. She knows the truth. I think these people are getting paid, you know.
Oh, whoa. There are 2 genders.
Well, it's
She
taught in-
said
Why
it.
did you say well? You've literally just launched this huge defence of transgenderism. Now you've eradicated it.
I think
If there are 2 genders, you mean male and female, right?
there's gender fluidity. I will.
Fluid between what?
Between what?
Between different identities, and we can choose different
You
identities.
see how difficult this is, though?
But it is difficult. But I think making.
But it's not
there's-
difficult until you make it
is
difficult.
not
You see, the
difficult. It
BBC
doesn't
has
have to be
done
difficult.
teaching videos to 11 and 12-year-olds where they say there are 100 genders. One of them was astrogender, which is an affinity with the stars and the galaxy. My response to that on the last show I did was to say, well, in that case, I identify as a 2-spirit penguin. I was then told I was being ridiculous, but I made the same point. The ridiculousness
that.
is the BBC teaching kids there are 100 genders. There aren't. It is absurd. Bring back Tommy Lee.
Guys, for me, this is what pisses me off the most. How can there be different genders? How is gender fluid? Gender can't be fluid. Like, you're telling me basically that gender can just change whenever I feel like it. Oh boy. So many people will be running at this. I think that's why a lot of people are coming out of their eggshells, showing their true colors, forcing it down the kids. Like Piers just said, 12-year-olds getting taught different kind of gender. I bet these kids are confused in school. You know what? This is a whole agenda, man. They're pushing it. I think they're trying to change generations and generations to come, and this is gonna affect not just them, all of us. I think there's a bigger agenda to this than we just know. I think there's so many people, like powerful people, that are worried about the labels they will get when they come out of their eggshells. You know, all these pedos and all that. They want to normalize it. This is why in some states you've got, you know, people that are getting married to kids, to teenagers, people that are not even 18 yet. You know, it's disgusting. It's crazy. And in America, I think there's a stats out there that I think it's every hour or so a large amount of children are being trafficked, as in like human trafficking. So these people don't even know what they're pushing, because this is all linked to this. We won't see it, but it is. Because who's buying these kids and what are they doing with them? You know? Wow. We're going into a rabbit hole.
Byron, who I imagine is hyperventilating over there in America. Tommy, I mean, look, I don't see why, if it's limitless, I can't just say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian, because that is where limitless self-identity takes us. It means that male rapists can say they're women and get into female prisons. It means I can say I'm a two-spirit penguin or a black lesbian, and why can't I? Because that is where it takes you.
Well, it certainly does, and I think you just had the perfect argument there. It's impossible to define, and it's impossible to stand up for, because it's a mockery of what actual people are. And furthermore, going back to children, when this happens at a young age, when you start trying to convince kids that they don't know what gender they are, or they're born in the wrong body at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, that's child abuse. All right? Gender affirming care, wherein you only tell somebody they can be whatever they want to be, regardless of their biology at a young age, that is child abuse. It's happening in the UK, it's happening in the US, and this is making room for groomers to groom young people, to confuse the heck out of them, make them not know what they are, so that they can take advantage and exploit them. Now, I want to be very clear here. This is not the mainstream LGBTQ movement. There are a lot of conservatives that even support that movement. This is a radical agenda made by groomers, and they don't want you to call them groomers, which is a perfect example of why they are groomers. This is what we're doing, is to confuse young people, to confuse all people, to make them dumber, make them confused as to what they are. It's a mockery of women's rights. It's a mockery of human rights. And we should no longer be having
and
the discussion.
And you end up with scandals like the Tavistock Clinic here in London, in the UK, where they were basically mutilating children, young, kids, teenagers, mutilating.
If you've ever had a sibling, a younger sibling, or a friend or someone that has a baby, or you grew up around, people that are way younger than you, and you had to, be there for them and play with them, care for them. You see how vulnerable children are. And for them to go into hospitals, because children look up to adults, they look up to us for protection, for care, for love, and everything. Basically, we're their role models. You see, the environment a child grows in will determine their future, will determine the kind of person they will become. If you want to bring up, homo mobos, this is the right agenda. But if you want to bring up upstanding citizens, morally driven, religiously driven, you don't even, this is what I always say, people have got choice. God has given us a choice. You do not have to be a Muslim, a Jew, a Christian, or even a Hindu. You know what I mean? You don't have to worship a cow to become morally stable, or to become morally upholding member of a community. You know what I mean? The fact that these people just, anywho, just do whatever they want, for me, it's just baffling. Who's allowing this shit? I think we are as well. This is why parents, should stand up for their children. Schools need reform, especially here in the UK as well. I think it's everywhere. In the States, it's even worse. Because I've seen instances where parents are being called up, their children have been sent home because they basically disagree with what a teacher thinks a man or a woman is, or because they believe in God, or because the kids don't believe in, homosexuality and everything. And they ask these children, these kids, there's this one instance where a kid, she's foreign, I think she's Nigerian in America, and she was asked, I think the child was asked about gay stuff and all that, and she said, God, in my religion, this and that, she's a Christian, that God doesn't allow it, blah blah blah. That's what she was taught. Amazing. At that age, she understands that. That's the family she was brought up. Why send her home? Why suspend her for that? And the mom had to call in and had to go out to school, blah blah blah. But this is the point we're at now, and I think it's actually disgusting. And she makes a good point about, Tommy makes a good point about not having it forced on children, because the fact that they do that, it just shows that they do not care about who they use as collateral damage whilst they get their agenda in place. Solely disgusting. This is disgusting.
Irrevocably. And then it turned out, after it closed, after a scandalous report came out, that 97% of all the patients had other conditions, from autism to depression to other issues, which may have been affecting their ability to think straight about what they wanted to be. And that was, to me, as a father of 4 kids, utterly horrific. Just horrific. This was going on, and anyone who tried to raise concerns about this, and journalists did, were immediately branded transphobic. And Esther, this comes back to what we see with, people like J.K. Rowling, I'm no friend of J.K. Rowling. She can't stand me. I don't like her, right? It's like fire and water. But on this issue, I've not seen a word she said that is transphobic. I've just heard her go, I want to support and protect women's rights. For that, she's been unbelievably hounded, abused, attempts to cancel, which fortunately have backfired. But it's all wrong, this, isn't it?
The thing is, and one of the shocking things that she's been attacked for is for drawing attention to domestic violence and violence against women. And that's actually the biggest point here. Other than the fact that, that male rapist was allowed to go into a female prison in Scotland, there's a genuine danger around allowing men into women's spaces, like women's shelters and things like that. And they can be there just by identifying as a woman and then identifying as a tree the next day.
Right, so Angelica, do you understand that part of the argument?
I understand that kind of the argument, but I mean, like Tommy said, I don't think this is confusing for children. I think it's giving you freedom of expression and freedom of choice.
But how many girls did you know? Like my wife was a bit of a tomboy when she was young.
This just kills it for me. Children won't get confused. Are you crazy? Who's this woman? Oh my God, who the hell is she? To think that not even women, children should be taught this thing in school is just outrageous. But this is the problem, guys. You see who they're targeting now. They don't care about us. It's the children, because you change kids, you change their mindset, you influence them, and then you change a whole generation. It will become so normal for them. And like Piers just said, these are kids that are vulnerable. Mental health issues. How can a child make a decision for themselves? I'm a grown up. Sometimes I can't even make up my mind what I want to eat. Sometimes I spend hours, thinking of, should I cook this? Should I just order the food because I'm tired? And they're telling us that children can make up their own mind. You know what? Get married. Get a partner, whatever you want to do. And then dignify yourself. If you have your kinky shit that you do, if your partner allows it, do it. But don't bring it out here for all of us to accept. Your dirty secrets. They're dirty secrets for a reason. Keep it to yourself. Enjoy yourself. I do not want to know. Please, we're begging you, leave the children alone. Let's not even go further with this video. This woman is just delusional. Let's just end it here, guys. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Listen, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you very much to the Lumina Pro family. I love you all, guys. Thank you. We're out. Ciao, ciao. And that was shit. And guys, thank you for watching today. This is your boy, Johnny Boy. I'll see you soon.